Breaking news tonight, the president declares black Americans the indigenous people of this land.
Will receive $2 million in gold.
The true indigenous Americans!
The truth of who they are cannot be buried anymore.
The evidence is undeniable. Black people in America are the true indigenous of this land, and every black American is owed $2 million in gold.
This is insane.
You know what that money means? They won't let us keep it.
Everything!
It's not fair!
What about us? That gold belongs to the white man. My granddaddy owned this land. Ha! No! The president knows the truth. By this time tomorrow, I'll be $2 million richer.
They came here saying we belong to them.
You are African. You will kneel.
This is our land. Our ancestors are buried in this soil. We're not leaving.
You are African. That gold belongs to us.
No. I am Washington. The president is giving us everything back.
You came off a boat.
I'm not African. I am Blackfoot Indian. Quit it.
You deny your blood.
No! I'm claiming the blood they tried to erase.
Around here like you don't know who you are.
I know exactly who I am.
You African, all of you.
Say it! Say it!
More mean dark-skinned fool. We were here before the ships, before your kings even knew this land existed, and we'll bleed for the truth.
You are African. That gold belongs to us. My granddaddy owned this land. I swear to Holy Trump, you better hand that gold over. You will never see that gold ever. I should really lay hands on you, little boy. You are African.
Where are the slave boats then? Answer me, where are the ships?
I forgot where you come from.
We didn't forget. We were born here. Your blood is African. Accept it or pay.
My ancestors built this land. I'm not giving it up.
Then you'll see what we came for.
Run.
You are from Africa. You are not indigenous to this land. How?
When I've never been to Africa.
How? Slave. We are slaves. Nothing more. No. You have a colonized mind. Swear, little boy. If you don't share the gold, you will die. I was born on this soil and bleed for it. They want to erase us. You will never eat our jollof rice again. For boats.
Boats. Then where the slave boats then? Answer me. Where are the ships?
You cannot erase what we endured.
Then show me the proof.
You have to work for the white man. Ha! Listen to the white scholars, the white historians.
A lunatic! I am indigenous to these lands.
They think we're strangers here.
You're Africans, all of you. Stop pretending.
We are the first people of this land. We remember.
If they won't believe, they'll try to erase.
You must listen to the white scholars, the white historians.
You are crazy. You love the white man, don't you?
Showed up in the middle of the night saying we belong to them.
You are African. Come home. This is home.
Then we fight.
From Africa, brother.
You don't know who we are? We Arawak. They come for every yard, every village. We fight or we gone. If we don't stand now, Island will burn.
You think you know who we be?
Africa claim your brethren.
We're not from Africa. We are Arawak.
And tonight we settle it, saying we stolen sons of Africa. But this is our island, our blood in the soil.
You stand or you vanish. Choose quick.
You're prisoners on your own land.
We'll fight for it.
Return to Africa.
They don't teach you this in school, but the very first free black town in the Americas was in Mexico. And it was led by an African man, the one Spain couldn't kill, couldn't capture, and eventually had to recognize. Meet Gaspar Yanga. He was from West Africa, likely the Bron people, enslaved and dragged to Veracruz, Mexico in the 1500s, but he didn't stay enslaved long. By 1570, he escaped into the mountains with a group of Africans and built a maroon settlement. And for decades, Spain sent armies to destroy it. And for decades, Yanga's people fought them off. They raided caravans, burned plantations, freed the enslaved, and forced the colonial government to admit they weren't going anywhere. By 1609, Spain launched a massive military campaign to wipe Yanga's community out. But Yanga was strategic. His people knew the mountains better than anyone. They fought Spain's soldiers to a standstill. And here's the part that really flipped the script. Spain surrendered. By 1618, they signed a treaty with Yanga, granting his community independence. The town of San Lorenzo de los Negros, now called Yanga, Veracruz, became the first legally recognized free black settlement in the Americas. Gaspar Yanga proved something that the colonizers never wanted us to know, that enslaved people could win. Not escape for a night, not survive in hiding. Win. Build a free town and force Europe's most powerful empire to negotiate. But of course, his story has been buried, because Yanga's existence exposes the truth. Freedom was never given to us. We took it. Gaspar Yanga, the man who broke Spain's grip in Mexico, before America was even America. They called him a rebel, a bandit, a criminal. History should call him what he was, a founder. And the land that his people fought for still bears his name. Say his name. Gaspar Yanga.
Who's knocking this late?
Don't welcome death into this house.
My shield stands before you.
Actually, I will take yours.
This fire will not claim my bloodline tonight.
Not today.
My bloodline breathes.
I stand before you. No weight will crush this bloodline.
No poison passes this bloodline. The snare catches only the hunter.
I just bit my own tail.
Your lies dissolve before they touch my bloodline.
I could say all the millions and millions of blessed dead who have fought and prayed for a noble cause, for good and balance in the world. So I count all the great ancestors of peace and order and prosperity as my ancestors.
Honor and respect, honor and respect, honor and respect. Divine all blessed greetings and salutations. It is another edition of Revolutionary Hoodoo, New Orleans Voodoo Secrets and Recipes, brought to you by NOIVD, New Orleans International Voodoo Day. 2026, May 23rd and 24th, 2026. New Orleans International Voodoo Day promises an inspiring and immersive experience with a diverse lineup of engaging events. Highlights include an educational symposium featuring distinguished speakers from around the world, including a delegation of scholars and spiritual leaders from Benin and Haiti, as well as art exhibitions showcasing voodoo-inspired works by talented local and international artists. The event will also feature a children's program and an Afro-ecology exhibit exploring the sacred nature of plants in voodoo, their role in spiritual practices, and their connection to our ancestors. The weekend will culminate in a ceremonial procession to 9 significant locations in the city where the enslaved were brought ashore, held, auctioned, and where they later found and created community and culture. This journey will begin at the transatlantic slave route to New Orleans marker on the moonwalk at the river just behind Jackson Square, and will conclude with the traditional voodoo ceremony at Congo Square, where our communities will come together, Benin, Haiti, and certainly the so-called New World. And additionally, visitors can participate in interactive workshops, community discussions, and opportunities to connect with practitioners and cultural experts. This multifaceted celebration offers something for everyone, creating a meaningful space to honor the past, to celebrate the present, and to inspire the future. Again, that is May 23rd and 24th, Saturday and Sunday, May 23rd and 24th, 2026. And we certainly continue to invite your support, your participation, your visitation. And we certainly are grateful for your continued support in showing up here in this 9 p.m. U.S. Central Standard Time, Monday through Friday podcast. We are certainly grateful for your attendance and your support and your active participation. We're grateful for those who show up in our chat. Elijah, Joshua Dupois, we're certainly grateful for your participation on panel and in chat. Bianca Johnson Plessy, we're certainly grateful for your participation in chat and on panel. And thank you so much, valid community member Daniel Neal. We certainly appreciate you. And my beloved godchild, the goddess, we're certainly grateful for your attendance and your support. I will be unmuting the Queen Mother, Tony Val Martinez, Elder Reggie, Green Soap, leader and founder of Shrine of the White Cloth, and faithful member and administrator of NOIVD and the Source, and our beloved Joshua Nyland Tanner, Wild Man, Armor Bearer, First Priest of House of the Divine Prince, and also member, valiant team member, and initiate of the Source and NOIVD. I will be unmuting your mics momentarily as we continue our conversation on this evening. I want to pick up where we left off while at the same time sort of reminding us where we were. We were discussing the rebellion and anti-colonial struggle in Hispaniola from indigenous agitators to African rebels, sort of the cooperation, if you will, between the indigenous Aboriginal inhabitants and African rebels in the fight against colonialism, and certainly with Columbus and the Spanish. During Columbus' departure, Taino chief Kayonabo and his brother Marina of the Maguana Kingdom in the Cibio region ordered the destruction of La Navidad settlement and death of 39 men in 1493 by ritually mutilating them to ensure that they would be sent back to Coya Bay, the island of the dead, where they thought these evil men originally came from. These Taino leaders certainly resisted the insurrection of Spanish and colonizers, and early Taino resistance galvanized Black people to join them in combating the Columbian project and asserting their freedom. Forced to mutually toil side by side in mines, farms, construction projects, and private homes, Tainos and Black people formed tight-knit alliances throughout the first half of the 16th century. Less than 2 decades after Spanish colonization, continuous military encounters, sadistic punishments under the Encomendado system, and the old world diseases radically reduced the Taino population. In response, the Spanish crown sanctioned the capture and enslavement of indigenous natives in neighboring islands and only newly captured territories to increase the gold mining labor force in Hispaniola. The Spanish crown also authorized the importation of enslaved Ladianos, acculturated African people from the Iberian Peninsula around 1501, and local Spanish officials and the Spanish crown preferred Ladino laborers due to their familiarity with Iberian cultural mores, language, and Christianity, and hence considered them more likely to submit to the enslavers. But I'm sure, as Brother Joshua would point out, they underestimated their ability to navigate the terrain, to know and be more familiar with the natural terrain. Therefore, collaborating with the Africans in their escape from enslavement. African Iberian Muslims and African people born in Africa were perceived as more apt to rebel and banned them from entering Spanish territories. These assumptions were ill-conceived since 1503. All enslaved Ladinos fled from their colonial masters and joined rebel Tainos escaping from the Ecomianda system. Governor of Hispaniola, Nicolas de Ovando, corresponded with the Spanish crown and expressed his concern on this subject. And I quote, Muchos se huían a los montes y no podían ser detenidos y los negros se refugiaban entre los indios y les enseñaban malas costumbres, meaning many fled to the mountains and avoided capture, and the black people hid among the natives and taught them bad habits. In response, the Spanish crown and Nicolas de Ovando aired their willingness to halt the importation of Ladinos due to their propensity to flee, yet they retracted their stance a year later in 1504 to appease Spanish settlers demanding more enslaved laborers. And as I bring the reading to a close for tonight, the more notable example of African and Aboriginal resistance occurred in the Bajo Ruco Mountains from 1519 to 1533 under the leadership of Kakwika Gorakuya. Please forgive me for just slaughtering these foreign languages. Son of Kakika Majika text, referred to by most historians by the Spanish diminutive of Enrique as Enriquillo. Orphaned at an early age, Enriquillo spent his formative years under the care of Franciscan friars and received their religious tutelage. In 1514, reforms referred to as the Repartimiento of Albuquerque particularly emancipated enslaved Tainos, granting them residence in 25 to 30 free villages. However, Enriquillo and his constituency were denied freedom and instead mandated to relocate away from their ancestral land to San Juan de la Manguana and comply to the demands of their enslavers. Francisco de Venezuela and Francisco Hernandez, after Encomendero Andres de Venezuela sexually assaulted Enriquillo's wife, Mencia, and stole his mare, Enriquillo aired his grievances to the local town lieutenant governor, Pedro de Vadillo. In response, Vadillo reprimanded Enriquillo for making a complaint against Venezuela and also refused to comply with the directives issued in his favor by the Spanish Audiencia of Santo Domingo. I also want to note that in 1519, Enriquillo openly contested the body politic that blatantly disregarded his chiefly status and oppressed his constituency and fled to the Bajoruco Mountains, where he established the first permanent Maroon community comprised of volunteers, mostly runaway Indians and Africans from throughout the island. And then in more recent time, we had the spiritual practices born from pre-Columbian indigenous and African interactions, deeply rooted in a rich tapestry of beliefs and traditions that emerge from these interactions. And one in particular that certainly comes to my mind is Maria Leonza. Maria Leonza is the central figure in one of the most widespread new religious movements in Venezuela. The cult of Maria Leonza began in the 20th century as a blend of African, indigenous, and Catholic beliefs. She is revered as a goddess of nature, love, peace, and harmony. And she has followers throughout Venezuela society, from small rural villages to Caracas, where a monumental statue stands in her honor. The Sierra Maria Leonza Natural Monument, also known as Sorte Mountain, where an important pilgrimage takes place every October, was renamed in her honor. And according to the main legend, Maria Leonza was born in the 15th to the 16th century as the daughter of an indigenous chief from the region of Yaracuy. Her father sent her to live in the Sorte Mountain. One day, while she was by the river, an anaconda snake attacked and devoured her. And from within the serpent, Maria Leonza begged the mountain for help. The mountain agreed, and Maria Leonza thus disintegrated and merged from Sorte Mountain. Sometimes the anaconda is said to have exploded and caused the torrential rains that are common in the region. Maria Leonza is sometimes portrayed as an indigenous woman and sometimes as a pale-skinned woman with green eyes, usually surrounded by animals. She is often depicted naked, riding on a tapir, and the monument in Caracas is her riding on a tapir. Maria Leonza is sometimes called Yara, an indigenous alternative name, and according to some versions, Yara would have taken the name Santa Maria de la Onza Talavera del Prato de Nivar, or simply Santa Maria de la Onza, Saint Mary of the Onza, under Catholic influences during the Spanish colonization of Venezuela. Subsequently, her names would have been shortened to Maria Leonza. She is typically depicted with an African ancestral figure to one side of her and an indigenous or so-called native in Aboriginal figure to the other side of her. And I want to bring in Queen Mother, Sister Tony Val Martinez, beloved Elder Reggie, we know on this platform as Queen Soap, and Brother Joshua Nalantana to sort of talk about some of the similarities between hoodoo and seven African powers in the sort of the usage of indigenous Aboriginal, quote unquote, Indian spirits alongside African spirits with some central female deity or figure. New Orleans, that might even be Marie Laveau. What say you, beloved Sister Tony Val?
Hey, hello everyone out there, beloved panelists. The part when you was reading that made me laugh is when you read the part that he said the one group taught the other group bad habits. And I was thinking like, okay, what's the bad habit that they taught them how to fight y'all back?
The desire to be free.
Yeah.
The desire to be free, yeah.
I taught that they taught, oh, it's their fault. They taught them bad habits. No, they ran away in the first place. They taught them how to stay free. Oh my goodness.
Probably taught them what was going on in those plantations.
Yes, yes.
What was really going down.
And
no
you know, I'm gonna turn this over to Brother Joshua because this kind of like his area, and I'm quite sure he have a lot to say on the indigenous here and elsewhere. Brother Joshua.
Yeah, I mean, just to piggyback off of what Ty was saying, I mean, in terms of the room camps and the many different camps and the many different influences from Africa and from the indigenous peoples. They had a common enemy at that time that was coming in to, or either or was taken by, or was captured or kidnapped by, and was brought to the same locale and locations, whether it be San Hispaniola, anywhere in the Virgin Islands or in the islands down in the Caribbean, um, throughout South America, of course, Central America, and here on the mainland, through Florida, through all the way up the East Coast, up until Canada. So this was something that was happening simultaneously in different areas, but it was happening to people of color, people that was not following uh, the authority at the time, or the imposed authority at the time, which was the colonial power, whether it be Spanish, French, British, what have you. And those African peoples in those areas, they fled, and they relied on the local peoples and the indigenous people of those lands to protect them, and they came with information, more like spies and informants, to make sure to inform the indigenous people about what's really happening in these spaces that they may not be in, but some of them might be in and some of them might not be in, what they just hear, versus having a firsthand account of someone that actually leave a place from being subjugated and coming into their community and hearing their actual firsthand story is a lot more accurate, a lot more you can pull from that than what people say and what carries around the land during that time. So I know that we're specifically in that Hispaniola area that you was referring to in that document, and I thought the same thing, Tony, in terms of what was being said by the Spanish about the teaching them bad habits. And like, bad habits, like that's not that surviving and learning how to survive against oppression is not a bad habit. It's something that's needed in order for survival, in order to protect yourself. And we're kind of going through the same thing now. It's kind of crazy to say that, but you have Venezuela and all the other people that are now starting to resist, and I'm like, it's like the people are waking back up again, and it's like unsettled matters that have been remained unsettled, even here on the mainland, that is starting to wake up, and people are starting like, no, they're starting to stand on what's true and what they know to be true, and because you can't believe what you hear in the news any longer.
The one thing I like to go back to is the first reel that Divine Prince showed, where they were arguing about native or from Africa. That's a big discussion going on. It's been going on for a while, but it's kind of getting a little heated up now. A lot of people say they never brought slaves from Africa here. And then some people say, we always been here. And it's a big debate. And frankly, I think it's both. Because
Yeah.
when you look at the historical records of the explorers that came here and reported back, the men who was on the boat with the explorers that just came to document through drawing the native flowers and the terrain and stuff, and ended up with the native people being part of their artwork, they all describe the dark people,
Yeah.
I've never read any account where they said they found people that looked like them on an island. And when they drew the people as dark as they could draw them. Some even used the black paint. Some used the brown paint. And then I think because the natives that they found here already when they got here, the tribes, the millions and millions and millions of people they found here. By the time we got around to the Atlantic slave trade, most of those people had been killed off. They died from disease. They refused to work. They ran off and hid like the Seminoles did in the swamps. But it ended up not being enough people to enslave on this in this country anymore. So they had to go and look for other people. And they went and looked for other people that looked like the ones they found here.
Yeah.
So I believe it's a mix of both. We were here and we were there. And they brought us from there to here. And we all mixed together. And we are what we are today. And getting back to the thing about the bad habit, you do know that during slavery times, slaves who tried to escape were said to have had a disease, right? It's a big old long word. I can't even pronounce it. But they actually gave it a name that these runaways suffered from this disease. Some kind of way in their mind, they couldn't fathom anyone wanting to be free of them.
Like a mental disorder, yeah.
Yeah, it was a mental disorder.
Yeah.
They had this mental disorder.
They make up everything. I mean, they make up everything. They demonize anything that's done by us that is liberating. They've been doing that. They still do it now to this day.
Yeah, they do it to this day, and they about to try to turn back the hands of time.
The
Elder
condition,
Reggie, how
the
you doing
condition,
out there?
hold on. The condition was called drapetomania. Drapetomania.
Kleptomania. Yeah.
Disease that slaves were said to have that made them seek freedom. Greetings, Elder Reggie. Come on in.
He might. Elder Reggie, you there?
You might be having some technical difficulties.
No,
Yeah.
muted.
Come on in.
Okay, there you go. I was just sitting here meditating when Divine Prince was reading about the female god that was riding on the tapir. And I come in at because I've been to Mises and I'm real heavy into what's called spiritualism. And even today, the spirit of this land, they may call it Turtle Island, America, South Central. Those energies still comes forward when you are in spirit possession. They still come forward and give wisdom and give direction. So some of the gods of the land have never went anywhere. So when you're dealing with it from a spiritual perspective, you will see that those energy are still present today. And Divine Prince had tapped on that a little bit, and that's where my mind was going with this whole conversation tonight.
Yeah, yes indeed. It's definitely a power. It's a sustained power, and I think it was crucial in terms of a lot of the revolutions, and what's crucial that I think people can learn from is that people at that time against those with those maroon camps, those people was fighting with one as one people and against evil, and they set aside a lot of their personal divisions and had common interests and common pursuits. And I think that's the power that gave them the ability, spiritual power and whatever type of power that they was invoking at that time, to allow them to be able to overcome those things. And we can't be distracted, and that's why they constantly try to divide us and separate us and propagate all this division amongst our people. And it's a war tactic, and people need to understand that it's a war tactic to keep us separated from one each other, keep us from talking to each other, sharing information to each other, contributing to each other, and giving love to one another. Because we galvanize that, then we can rule. We can move forward with power, and they don't want to see that because they've seen it before. There's plenty of examples in the past, but as long as we doing the right thing, they know that that power is going to continue to come, and we'll be able to overcome whatever obstacles we have in front of us.
I'm waiting to hear of a riot if they would even let that out in one of these places that they hold in these so-called illegal aliens at. I'm waiting to hear that because we do know when they held them coming from Cuba under the overpasses and in the tent city, they ended up rioting. I mean, I'm waiting for that because I think they understaffed those places. And Alligator Alcatraz is still holding people there. They didn't follow the judge ruling. Instead, they appealed it, so everything stopped. So they still bringing people there. But eventually, something's going to give. In today's society, something is going to give and start and kick off something major that the majority of people not ready for or prepared for. You know, I did a post on my Facebook where they found so many hundreds of hand grenades that these YTs had in different locations, just hundreds of them, and other bombs and bomb making material. And I'm like, well, what they was gonna use all that for?
Yeah.
You know, they out there plotting and planning, and it's not good. You know,
No.
we need to put them fans down.
Yeah, no.
Start getting some survivalist books because things gonna get really rough around here. Now, I don't know if it's gonna be this year or next year. People keep saying Trump want to run for a third term, and if he not allowed to run for the third term, it's gonna be this super bloodshed and all this here. I'm like, oh my God.
But he really can't run
Do
for a
it.
third term. I think the only option he would have is to extend his term, and that will be done by creating a war.
Well,
During war times, I believe there's no election.
they extended the election in Florida. They did their little tests on it and got away with it in Florida, where they didn't have the election to change the mayors and the governors and stuff. That's been postponed by another year. So maybe, I mean, like I said, they did their little test run on it. So I don't know. Every day is something different and not for the betterment of us. Not for the betterment of us. I mean, he just called for 100% tariff on China, where mostly everything we buy is made. Everything we buy is made. So that means if Divine Prince wanted to buy a case of candles from China that cost $50 from China's accent point, he would have to pay $100 to get it here. You know how many small businesses then been put out of business because of these tariffs? I mean, that's like you destroying a whole
I heard
culture
Walmart.
of people.
Then Walmart has a freeze on their jobs, right? They're
Yeah,
not hiring nobody for like 3 years.
as
And we
long as
know how
he's
Walmart
in,
make their money.
as long as Trump is in office.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
it's sad to
mean,
say.
All Trump stuff come from all his advertising, all the stuff that his crew buy, those hats and all of that. They made in China. I mean, he called himself punishing China. How is he punishing China? He act like this the only country that China could sell to or get goods from. He's supposed to be punishing them because they didn't buy our soybeans and rice.
No. Yeah, we
And
have a
this can
leader that's
happen before in history. We just going around. We have to look back and see how our ancestors kind of dealt with it. I mean,
we got to start doing
they
for our own.
survived it.
Yeah, it's survived because they're able to do for their own. And I mean, when this country first was built, we was the hands that built it. We were the intelligent people that understood what to eat, what not to eat, how to gather food, when to gather food, where to go get the food, and how to heal people. We was the first doctors. We was the first physicians. We was the first of many different things in this country, and educated also, and spoke well, and was taught well prior to their existence here in this country. So it's like it's a lot to unpack. It's a whole lot to unpack. It's been a good talk today, though, man. I'm encouraged by the things that is the power that we have from our ancestors and the information that I continue to research and pull. Because I'm starting to see what we're starting to see in real time, present day, how we might, like you said, need to get back to that and tap back into those traditions and tap back into those systems of agriculture and feeding and providing for our communities on our own.
Yeah. Well, we've come to the end of this program, and I want to turn it over to Elder Reggie to
Thank you,
close us
sister.
out.
Thank you, Sister Tony. We appreciate it. I'd like to do an advertisement, please. Our next moon ritual prayer and application ceremony will be the new moon Tuesday, the 21st of October at 6:30 p.m. And that location is 710 Cluett. It's called the Cluett's Garden. It's a ritual of spiritual warfare and gathering. If you're in the local vicinity, please come out. We will be there doing what we do. And there's another one, Divine Prince of Fekgede. Come and join us. Day of the Dead, Fekgede celebration. That's going to be Saturday, November the 1st at 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. The location is the New Orleans Healing Center, 2372 St. Claude Avenue, corner of St. Roch and St. Claude. As Mambo say, be there or be triangle. With that, lest we forget, the spiritual medicine of voodoo brings healing and relief from the shackles of slavery that binds the master and the slave to the same chain of social division. We in this thing together. We gonna have to find a way or figure out a way to survive it. With that, I say, Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Good night, everyone. We love you. Until tomorrow night, we get to speak again.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Odabo.
Double.
Colonization messed everything up. Slavery messed everything up. Because I remember, like, once I started to own my name and who I was, I would tell the kids, it's like, well, you're black. You African too. No, I ain't black. First off, I got Indian in my blood.
See your baby hair?
Your baby hair. Like, it was like
the baby hair.
Indian. It was like anything to be further away. I was like, but you're black.
Yeah.
How can you, like, black people don't come from anywhere else but the continent of Africa.
Yeah.
But we were that messed up.
No, yeah.
To where it's like, I have to disassociate. No, my family we're Creole. We come down from Louisiana.
I used to get this one. Oh, man. You know, cause, you know, you try to, when you start liking girls and stuff, you know, and it was, you know, the colorism was big too. This is a Southern thing. And I would be like, they'd be like, you cute to be dark skinned. They would say that. What? Sure. You're handsome to be dark. I don't really usually date dark skinned dudes. I go, and cause being African, you're like, that's normal to us. Like, I got proud, dope, dark skinned uncles and light skinned uncles. Like, we're Africans. And you know, and I was like, what that? What does that mean? Like, but that's just the Southern mentality. Or being around your light-skinned friends. Like, they'd be like, yeah, I want to get as dark as Godfrey and stuff, or dark as another, because I had other African friends. And we just like, what? Like,
154, we all connected, baby, you already know. I'm talking 154, we bringing Africa around the whole globe. Ain't no place like home. Ain't no place like home. Ain't no place like home.
Please, allow me to show you something.
They say I'm crazy and that might be true. I got this white in my DNA, yeah, I'm coming for you. It's time we turn the tables, flip these motherfuckers on you. I wanna see you hanging from trees, it's time you pay for your dirt and your showtime. You created the monster, you created the beast. Now all this savagery you just gon' reap. I'm coming home, daddy, to the plantation, and I'm taking the lives of everybody, including the children, on some Nat Turner. Oh, do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. I met my girl Harriet at the gate. If you wanna know how she doing, yeah, she's straight. But she had one question: when we gon' get up? All that talking tough, yeah, we don't walk it tough. She got it locked and loaded, got that piece up on her side. She looked me in my eyes and said, "Meet you ready to ride?" Moving forward, you gotta use both eyes. Watch your front and watch your back. Keep your hands up on your gas. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. He sit at the table, but he don't order no bacon. He greet me in those words, assalamu alaikum. Got them glasses on his face and them waves in his head. He go by the name of Detroit Red. He looks me in my eye and says you only get one try. Know that your biggest opposition will come from the inside. I know you wanna love them all, but don't even try, because they'll smile up in your face while plotting your demise. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down. Do you hear that sound? It's about to go down. Unleash the beast, we about to tear this motherfucker down.